Today's the day I'm finally gonna make myself a warm evening dress. Just to check that I won't be half naked at Christmas dinner. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and to a brand new sewing project. I have been wanting to make myself some warm evening wear for a long time now. For some reason, evening wear tends to be really bare. Bare chest, bare shoulders, bare arms, preferably bare legs as well, although that can obviously be fixed by wearing some tights. But since, at least for me personally, I tend to mostly wear evening wear in winter, like during the holiday season, it just doesn't make sense that it's such cold clothing, especially when you have like a beautiful satin dress. It's just so thin and so cold. So for a while now I've wanted to make myself some more formal evening wear that is still beautiful and appropriate for the occasion, but also nice and warm for winter so that I don't freeze when I step outside with my coat on and just a layer of satin underneath, because that just, it doesn't work. So the type of occasion I'm thinking is going to a dinner, to the opera, a classical concert, things like that. It's usually the occasions I would wear something like this to. Today's the day I'm finally gonna make myself a warm evening dress. A little complication though, I'm pregnant this year at Christmas and New Year's and all the festive occasions, so I need to make this pregnancy friendly. My bump needs to fit in, so I need to take that into account in my design, and I would love to still be able to wear this after pregnancy. We'll work on that once we get to the design phase. I bought a fabric, and as I was ordering this, I already thought I'm gonna regret this so bad. It's beautiful. It is also a stretchy velvet, and I'm probably gonna hate myself, but I have decided to take the time. I'm gonna take my time with this project, do what I need to do to make it work, because it is stunning. It is so gorgeous, and I feel like this goes beautifully with my coloration, reflects the light beautifully, and this just screams winter evening wear to me, and I would love to make something beautiful out of this. So we're just gonna try. I'm just gonna try, and I'm gonna tweak it as long as it needs until I have something that works. A beautiful green stretch velvet. I don't know if you guys remember the time I used a stretch corduroy to make a dress. It did not go well. I hated everything about it, but we're gonna try again. Is it a four-way? No, it's not a four-way stretch. That's good. At least that's something. To make things worse, I don't have a pattern for this. I'm gonna improvise. So I think it's time we move on to the design phase. Let's start by taking a look at my inspiration board. So I went online, looked for maternity evening dresses in general, and then more specifically velvet maternity dresses, just so that I can see what's possible with this fabric. It's a fabric I've never worked with. And also, of course, I have next to no experience with sewing maternity wear as well. So I wanted to see, you know, what the trends are and also just what I like personally. So I have a little Pinterest board here, and let's go through the images. This is something you see a lot, right? Like a crossover wrapped top. I'm not a huge fan of this personally. I just don't really like this type of design. Now this dress is very close to what I would like to make. I like that it is symmetrical in the center. I like that it has a deeper V neckline, because I like a bit more chest. I feel like many of these are very modest, maybe a bit too much. Now many of the pregnancy evening gowns that I found, or evening dresses, have a very high neck, and I like a little bit, you know, a little bit of cleavage is fine with me. I really like this knot design in the center, and the way that it gathers all of this extra fabric in the middle here in a way that allows a bump to grow under, but also still look nice and wearable when there isn't a bump. So I feel like something like this would be a great option. However, this is very complicated. It is doable. I looked up how to sew something like this, and you can definitely do it, but there's a lot of pattern alteration that comes with it, and I don't think I am at that skill level just yet with my pattern making. So I don't think I can do exactly this, but keeping in mind this design with most of the fabric being in the center and then kind of A-line, I guess, skirt this would be. At the bottom, I really like that. I love the length of this, which is around knee length. I also like the 3/4 sleeves. They are warm but still kind of elegant. So that's definitely a good option. Speaking of sleeves, I think this is my favorite sleeve design, which is a slightly balloon shape sleeve, a little cuff at the bottom. These are pretty simple to make, and I think it's very flattering. Here's the same dress from a different angle. Yeah, it's again a 3/4 sleeve, but just a little bit wider. And it seems to work with this material as well. I also like this skirt, by the way, although I would maybe like it to flare out a little bit more. So maybe I need to work towards more of a circle skirt rather than A-line. But yeah, this dress is actually really close to what I would like to make, just with a different neckline, I think. I wanted to take a little moment here to thank today's sponsor, because this video is very kindly sponsored by Squarespace. Squarespace is an online platform where you can build a website in a very easy and visual, beginner-friendly way. You don't need any knowledge or experience about coding or anything like that. It's super easy and actually really fun to play around with Squarespace's interface. You can start off with a template, and they have hundreds, if not thousands, of templates to choose from, ready-made, pre-built websites that you can customize. Or you could actually create your own template. They guide you through this little like questionnaire. You end up with pretty much your perfect website. Then once again, all you have to do is insert your own images, customize the fonts, the colors, everything to get to the point where you want it to be. They provide loads of features for all different kinds of websites. So whether you want to build a blog or a web store, a place to take bookings for your business, they have all of these options, and they have really nice tools on the back end as well. So statistics for your website, marketing tools. So if you do run maybe a small business, and this is the perfect place to go if you're looking to build yourself an online presence. So if this sounds good to you, you can go to squarespace.com to start a free trial, and then once you're ready to launch your website, you can go to squarespace.com/Loepsie and use code Loepsie for 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. Huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. And now let's go back to sewing. I also pinned this just for a different skirt idea, but I don't think I'm gonna go for this. The tiered skirt, I don't know, whenever I've done it in the past, it just didn't really end up working, but oh, this fabric is so gorgeous. Here is a longer balloon sleeve, but I don't like it as much. It's also a bit wider, and I feel like this would be too much with the round belly and the bell sleeves. I feel like I will just feel very big in that. There needs to be an accent somewhere. And then this dress is also very close to what I would like to make. It has the 3/4 bishop sleeves and the skirt with most of the fabric gathered in the center. I would like, again, my skirt to be a bit fuller, and it has the wrapped top, which I don't really like. What I would maybe like to do is a V-neck. It can be a pretty deep one. Then we're gonna have obviously a very high waistline. It's gonna be an empire waist. Then a skirt that kind of flares out like that. Maybe slightly puffy bishop sleeves. Very rudimentary drawing skills here, but you get the idea, right? And what I think I should do actually is just make the dress very wide in the front, and then sew in an elastic here so that the fabric is kind of gathered in the center. Maybe I could even do a very deep V-neck, just going all the way down. But I'll have to see how I feel about that. Maybe I need to drape on a mannequin and just see what that looks like. But I think something like this could definitely work. So I would just do a normal dress around the back, and then on front I would just make it extra big and then sew an elastic in the back here, stretched out, so that it gathers up into the size that I actually need. It's a pretty simple design, which is good. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that when I make my own designs, they need to be simple. Do I need to make a closure, or will the elastic, maybe the elastic will actually allow me to put this on and take it off without making a zipper or some kind of closure, which would be great. It's also a stretchy fabric. Maybe I can get away with no closure and just pull it over my head. This could work. Okay, let's grab the mannequin, grab the fabric, do some draping, and just see how this material reacts. How about we do a nice and deep V-neck all the way down. I think I could actually get away with just making the V come all the way down to the elastic, because it's going to be so heavily gathered. It's probably going to close up a little bit higher anyway. Does that make sense? Just because there will be a lot of fabric here just pushing itself inwards, it will create a bit of a higher closed V, and it will make it a lot easier for me to achieve this gathering. If I can make this work and I can actually sew it, it's gonna be really good, I think. I hope, at least in my mind, it looks really good. I would have a waistline right here underneath the bust at this level. A lot of extra fabric in the center here. And then I think if I just make the rest of it like a regular circle skirt, or maybe even just A-line, but I think I have enough fabric for a full circle. And you guys know I love my circle skirts. And then with the sleeves, 3/4 bishop sleeve. I considered for a bit maybe doing a butterfly sleeve. But again, I feel like maybe that'll be too much drapiness going on. I feel like a bishop sleeve is warmer. That's the first thing, very important. But also maybe a bit sleeker. Yeah, I feel like the bulk of the visual heaviness should be around the belly and nowhere else. So we're gonna have strong center emphasis here. Right here, right above the bump. Maybe just to be sure, I should try it on myself with that very deep V, just to check that I won't be half naked at Christmas dinner. I could always make it that way and then come in later, sew up this part, or even just do a little tack a little bit higher up so that it does actually close. I don't have to accept that it's just open forever. I can always come in later and close it after it has been gathered so that it doesn't interfere with the gathering of the bump part as well. Okay, looks good. Now, how do I pattern this? I think I'm just gonna go ahead, find a basic bodice that I've used before, use that for the back, and then make it 1.5 times as wide, maybe twice as wide for the front, and cut out a deep V-neck. That should work, right? I think I have my pattern. This is the back portion of my Pippa wrap dress, my designer stitch Pippa wrap dress, which is a trusty pattern that I've used several times and I really enjoy. This pattern is a little bit roomy on me, and since I will be using a stretchy fabric as well, and this was made for woven fabrics, I did decide to fold in a little bit on the center back here. I have also made the decision to cut this on the fold. Normally this is cut and then sewn together, so there's a seam running down the center. I think I should be able to get away with cutting this on the fold, since once again I am using a stretchy fabric, and there's always a dart that I could use to compensate for that if needed. But yeah, the fewer seams I have in my bodice, the better, because the seams are going to be the worst with this fabric that I'm using. So if I can avoid at least one seam, that would be fantastic. And like I mentioned, I will use this for the back and then also use it for the front. But for the front, I will probably lengthen everything inwards like that, and then gather at the shoulders, and of course gather at the bottom here, and hope that that works. And I will cut this at an angle so that it's coming down into a point on the bottom and not a scoop neck like that. I think the next step is just simply trying it out. I ordered quite a bit of this fabric. I have 4 meters of it, which I think is way more than I need. So if anything goes wrong, I have a bit of room to experiment. I don't unfortunately have any fabric with a similar stretch that I could use to do a mock-up, so I'm just gonna have to go for the real thing straight away, which is fine. We're just experiment, we're learning. It's gonna be good. I have attached my 2 front panels to my back panels, so what I have right now is about this, an ungathered bodice, which I will need to gather at the sleeves before I attach them. Work all of this fabric into here and then on this side as well. So what I think I'm gonna do is run a gathering stitch along this edge. I hope it works. Once again, very little experience with this type of fabric, but so far it's going well. I used a zigzag stitch on the side here, and it looks actually really nice and clean from the outside, which I wasn't expecting. Usually a zigzag stitch looks weird, but because this is such a thick, I guess, piled fabric, it doesn't show at all, so that's fantastic. What I also need to do, I think, is finish this edge before I move on, and I think I'm just gonna do a little rolled hem. I think that would be the cleanest, and it's probably gonna be visible from the outside at least a little bit, but I think that's inevitable at this point. Or do I do a facing? Because I need to finish this neckline somehow as well. Does a facing make it too bulky? I'll have to think about that actually. I haven't really thought that through yet. Or maybe I'll just fold this back. Once again, it's a stretchy fabric. I think I might be able to get away with just like rolling the neckline as well. It's a bit weird, it's unconventional, but I think it might work. And it'll probably be easier than doing a lining for a design like this that's gathered a lot. Alright, my gathering stitch is in, and I have the back side of my garment here. So they're gonna go right sides together, and what I'm gonna do now is attach these two together, and I would like the majority of my gathers, or actually all of my gathers, to be towards the center of the garment, because once again we're going for that central focus to like the highest point of the bump. So this is 10 centimeters. So we're gonna go to 5 up to there. Everything's gonna be gathered, and I think that's gonna look nice in the finished result. No gathers on the outer half, all the gathers on the inner half. So let me do that to the other side as well. Okay. Let me sew that up, and then I think it's gonna be time to try it on. Time for a test run. I definitely need those darts in the back, I can tell that straight away. I really like the shoulder gathers, I think those came out great. And it's gonna be pretty similar on the bottom, I think. I think it should come out looking a little something like this. You can see when you look from the back here, there's some room here that needs to be fixed with darts, but we can do that, that's no problem. They're in the pattern, so I can just copy those. Let's try it on my body. Maybe we can see a little bit better. It's sitting right on top of my bump, which is great. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna do my darts, measure around the entire circumference of my bodice with these points just right next to each other. Make a circle skirt with that as the waist, and then just concentrate all the gathers in the front like I did with the shoulders. We're gonna do all straight around the back and sides, and then all gathered in the center front. Here's the status so far. This is what the dress currently looks like. The back, much better with the darts. I think this will even itself out a little bit once there's the weight of the skirt to kind of stabilize this a little. The only thing is I really don't know if I should, like, do I press this? Do I iron this? I feel like I shouldn't. I also feel like it's not really necessary because it flattens out quite nicely. Only here in the darts, I feel like maybe I could get away with a little bit of ironing, but I don't think this is a fabric you should iron. So I've kind of improvised some gathers so that you can kind of see where the bodice is heading. Obviously, we're gonna do the 3/4 bishop sleeves, and we're gonna do the gathered circle skirt. but that's gonna be the next video, which will actually be my next video, so that should be up for you within a couple of days. I'm gonna keep working on this because I'm really excited, and Christmas is coming up, so I have to. Sewing this isn't actually as bad as I thought, and I hope I'm not jinxing. Everything's made of wood here. I hope I'm not jinxing anything, but it's actually not that bad so far. I'm just using a zigzag stitch pretty much everywhere except for the gathering stitches, and I feel like this material is actually pretty forgiving. Since it's so thick, you can really see like little unevenness in the seams. It's actually fine so far. I'm a little bit worried about the skirt and hemming the skirt. I might actually have to reconsider doing a circle. No, I really want a circle skirt. I'll sleep on that and we'll see what happens. Bishop sleeves in any case. So yeah, next video, sleeves and skirt. I really hope you enjoyed this, guys. Thank you for following along on this journey as I once again try to draft my own dress pattern, and hopefully this time it works out. I feel like this is a 50-50 hit or miss. Sometimes it works out wonderfully, sometimes it doesn't at all. That's the process of learning a new skill. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be updated on all of the other videos I'll be uploading in December and after. Don't forget to check out Squarespace through the link in the description box below. Another huge thank you to them for sponsoring this video. There is another video here that I think you might also enjoy. You can go watch next. Thank you so much for watching once again, and I will see you very soon with the rest of this dress. Bye, guys.